Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another Diablo 2 grind fest of me grinding forever to level 99. I won't stop. Won't stop, can't stop, like the turtle, you know? The hares might be passing me by at 1,000 miles an hour, but you know what? I don't really care. I don't really care. Bink. Let's hop into Discord. Let's see what's going on. Let's get started. Looks like Destination 666 is already in chat. Let's say hi. What's up, Destination? Silence. Silencio. Silencio. All right, we're gonna get started in this grinding though. I want to get to 97 at the very least. Good lord, like give me some 97, and then eventually 98, and then once I hit 98, you know, then it's on to 99. It's gonna take me a while, but I'll get there. I mean, don't doubt me now, because I will keep grinding. I'm just gonna keep grinding forever, forever. Willpower is important, my ladies and gentlemen. Willpower is important. It's very, very importante. Why is my restream chat down there? Come over here, restream chat. I'll make you a little bit bigger, too, so people can see you. I actually had to take the chat off of the screen because literally, like, the bots just kept coming in to spam their messages on the screen, and Restream happily, just retransmits the bot's messages. It's like, hey, it's like, oh, the bot said, something about webcam XXX, and some other dirty things. Yeah, sure, let me just pop it up there so everybody can see. I mean, who doesn't want to see this stuff? Obviously, you guys want to see this stuff. Teleportation to the seals. Find the Power Rangers at their wheels. Don't teach them anything you wouldn't teach your friends. A flawless skull. Happy Friday, TGIF. I'm from that generation. Let's get some TGIF going. TGIF. So, show of hands, people in chat, show of hands. How many of you guys and gals watch Family Matters on TGIF every Friday after school? Because I was one. Frickin' Steve Urkel. And did you know that there's a Steve Urkel joke in this game? Did you know? There is actually a Steve Urkel joke in this game. Because that's the time frame that this came from. Who can tell me where the Steve Urkel joke is? I'm interested to know if any of you guys actually know where the Steve Urkel joke is. What's up, APOC? I mean, it got filtered out anyway, so. So nobody knows? Nobody knows where the trick is? Where the joke is, the Steve Urkel joke? Ah, you're MDP. Well, join me over on YouTube. Or if you prefer Twitch, I mean, you can stay over there. I stream to all platforms, pretty much. Why not? You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Alright, since nobody has answered correctly where the Steve Urkel joke is, or the Family Matters joke, rather, is in Diablo 2, I'm going to let you know. So if you are on the Amazon, If you were on the Amazon and you kill Shank, the Overseer, the Amazon says the line, "Oops, did I do that?" And it's a direct reference, of course, to Steve Urkel, who was always, always saying, "Oops, did I do that?" If you don't believe me, take an Amazon on her quest kill and go kill Shank the Overseer, and you will hear the line, "Oops, did I do that?" Whatever happened to sensibility? The milkman, the paperboy, the evening TV. Whatever happened to a little Diablo after high school, maybe in the snow? Killing Mephisto and gonna get some loot. I need a little stuff for me and maybe one for my little brother. I say little brother, but that'd be my older brother. It's just a song, don't sue me, folks. Just a little ad lib. Do I play FromSoft games? I have an entire playlist of Elden Ring, and I also did a review on Dark Souls 1. All that is up on my channel for you to see, waiting for the sun. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of FromSoft games, and there's a reason for it. I feel like they're poorly made.
Hey, I am back.
I know that's kind of like a bold statement, but I do feel like most From Software games are kind of poorly made. They run off of a very old, very like MMO-ish kind of a style of gaming, which is like, and the best way I can explain it is learn by dying. It's a learn by dying mechanic, and I've never really quite appreciated the learn by dying mechanic. I like to refer to it as wasting my time mechanic. What's up, Destination?
Not much, man. What's going on?
But if you find my Dark Souls 1 review, you will see that my Dark Souls 1 review literally says, despite all the flaws in the game, despite all of the many issues that I have with the game, I still recommend playing it. It's still a fun game to play, and I would still recommend other people pick it up. I just feel like if they'd take a little bit of time and realize that that deliberately wasting people's time is not necessarily ever a good thing. Like, I'm not really sure how to explain it because it just comes with freaking decades of gaming experience. But there is a fine line between wasting a player's time and, like, you know, making them do a grind. Like, grinding and wasting a person's time is such a fine art form that literally most games have trouble with it. And in my opinion, Dark Souls doesn't tread that line very lightly. Like, they pretty much just go, we're going to waste your time. And if you want to play our amazing game, which their game is amazing, they're going to waste your time. They're going to waste your time. And they love to do it.
Finally found the Mavina bow today, so I got the full set finally.
Oh, nice. You already had the diadem?
Yep. I gambled it with my Goldfine barb.
Nice.
Yeah, gambling coronets. And I saw the diadem pop up. I was like, oh, is it the big one? No, but it is a big one, regardless.
Elden Ring was by far the least offensible of the lot of the Dark Souls games. I think Dark Souls 1 is quite honestly the worst. It's absolutely the worst. What it really comes down to is when you're looking at a game that is wasting your time, the Elden Ring series seemed to do a better job of not wasting your time than the Dark Souls 1 game did. Dark Souls 1 was awful. Was absolutely just awful at wasting your time. Like I felt like most of the time I played that game, it was literally just wasting my time. Like there was hardly any actual gameplay. It was really just me running back to a boss that I didn't quite know how to fight at that particular moment, having to redo an entire level to get to that boss. Like that kind of gameplay is just sloppy, and it's not in any way, shape, or form something that I would admire. Like take the first level, for instance, of Dark Souls, just the first level, right? You walk into the first level, what happens, right? The skeleton graveyard is there. The skeletons are way higher level than you. You're balanced around literally to the point where if you fight monsters that are on level with you, they can pretty much one or two shot you. And the skeletons literally can like one or two shot you, like even when you block an attack. Like that's how powerful they are by comparison to like the regular monsters that you're supposed to be fighting. But they plant these skeletons right in the way, and they're like, "Hey, play with these skeletons that you're not supposed to be fighting, and go die a whole bunch of times and get frustrated." It was a really poor design choice on their part. And then once you finally realize, hey, this isn't the way I'm supposed to be going. These monsters are way too high level for me. And you get to where you're actually supposed to be. The game's not even that difficult, but like they do force you to literally just waste time repeatedly over and over again. Especially on the first main boss. Like the number of times that you're going to have to run that you're going to have to run back to that first main boss is absolutely hilarious. And you've got to go through the entire level to get there because just really poor, just absolutely poor waypoint placement. Oh, no problem, Zach. I'm glad I can be of help to anyone. I've got something exciting that I was actually going to announce today. So within the next week or two, I'm not exactly sure how long this is going to take me. But do look out for a special video. It's going to be a video that revolves around Hero Editor and the lack thereof of a proper Hero Editor item pack. The Kingpin's item pack, which is the one that I think we've all been using for a very long period of time, is extremely old. I think the last time the Kingpin's item pack has been updated was like 2003 or something, and I think that was the last time it was ever touched by human hands, to the point where literally if you download any version of the Kingpin's item pack, you've got items that are wrong, like the Tyrael's Might has plus 100% requirements instead of negative 100% requirements. The Stormlash Scourge is on attack instead of on striking, and so forth and so on, and there's literally just like tons of errors and problems with the pack. And as a person who uses the pack on a regular basis, I got fed up. Okay, I got absolutely fed up with using this outdated pack that doesn't have all the files, that doesn't have the ethereal versions of the items. And granted, you can make ethereal versions of the items, but it's such a slog and a waste of time to have to go in there, convert the, load the file in, convert the file to an ethereal item, calculate the defense, modify the defense, save it, etc., blah, blah, blah. And when you do this over a large number of items, it just becomes really, really tedious and time-consuming. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a new item pack. Utilizing, of course, Kingpin's. I'm not going to do it all myself because that would be absolutely insane. I feel like I would probably end up going crazy if I actually did it entirely by myself. So using the Kingpin's as a springboard, I'm going to be creating a new item pack. I'm going to rename it GGM's item pack because it's going to have a lot of stuff in there that doesn't exist in the Kingpin's item pack. I'm going to include all the rune words, which is something that the Kingpin's was sorely missing. It has literally like only the bare necessities of rune words. So I'm going to make a rune word basically of an item of every single rune word, including the new rune words as well. So I'm also going to make those and put them in the pack. Now there is going to be a caveat of those. those new rune words are not going to activate until you load them into the game, because that's the way that that this whole system works. So you make the rune word in the old system, and then you load it into the new game, and it will convert into the new rune word upon loading. It doesn't work in the old version of the game, obviously, unless you wanted to edit the files or something like that. I'm also going to include all of my single-player characters. So I'm sure that if any of you guys have ever seen my my single-player videos where I'm scrolling down my list of single-player characters and I have just like an insanely large number of characters, you know, like Sanic the Hooge Hag and all my set items and, you know, like various things like that, like my Prakazan and my my stupid little, my summon druid that I built. All of those will be included in the pack as well. I'm also going to see if I can include, I think, ethereal versions of all the items. I don't know if I already said that. I think I already said that. And I'm also taking everything that I can find from any other pack and basically incorporating it in there, like crafted items and so forth and so on, because I really want the pack to be as complete as possible. And it will also have a workable version of Hero Editor included in. I'm not really sure why you would ever even, quite honestly, package the Hero Editor, like the Kingpin's item pack, without the Hero Editor with it. Like, because you literally can't use one without the other. Like, it would be like selling a car and not putting any gasoline in it, and the guy tries to drive it off the lot, and literally, like, it just sputters and stops right there. Like, it's a little silly. There may be some other things that I've included as well. Like, one of the things that the Kingpin's item pack didn't have for some reason, which was really weird, was gems. It didn't have any gems. No perfect gems, no flawless gems, no chip gems, no flawed gems, no normal gems, nothing. There was no gems whatsoever in the pack, and the first time I found that out, I was like, why? Why are there no gems in this pack? I actually had to create them, so that's one of the things that I'm going to be getting on. Also, Kingpin's is missing quite a large number of items, something that I'm going to have to remedy, which may take me a little while to get fully done. A lot of the Amazon-only bows are missing. A lot of the Necromancer wands are missing. And any other item that is missing that I need to load into the pack, it's going to be a pretty big project. Oh, Lord. Multi-shot Inferno is no joke. Especially when you have a freaking Chaos mage just spamming lower resist on you. There's going to be a video on it. I'm about... I don't want to say halfway done, but I feel like I'm about halfway done. I still need to load in basically every single rune word that's missing. I'm also kind of planned on maybe doing like, wow, he dropped me 2 whole items and they were garbage. I kind of planned on doing multiple versions of the rune words as well, which may or may not work out because, you know, there's already a very large number of rune words. And then doing multiple versions of the rune words may actually prove quite insane, but we'll see. Hopefully, when I have everything finished and together, it'll make more sense, and then I'll have it up for download so that everybody can download it and spread it around the internet. And if they add more rune words, I guess I might keep it up to date too. I feel like a lot of people are playing Diablo these days, and a lot of people are using the old Hero Editor pack, and they're literally running into the same errors and the same problems that I am. All of the new rune words, Daryl, and all of the rune words that I create will be random rolls. There's not going to be any control over that because I'm not going to be able to sit there and fine-tune every single rune word. So they're just going to be random rolls. Whatever they roll is whatever they roll. Which I don't really necessarily think is a bad thing because it gives more realism to the way that the rune words actually work. Because you're not, for instance, going to end up with a perfect roll every single time you do a rune word. Especially some of the more ridiculous rune words.
Good afternoon.
I've actually done a lot of work on it so far. And I was even kind of considering, not really 100% sure, but I was kind of considering working on maybe like a version update basis, basically where I'll just continually update the versions until eventually I come to the final version. Because I don't know how many updates it's going to take me before I end up with what I would consider the perfect version. Can you re-roll rune words? Yes, what you would do is you would actually put a hell rune, and you would put a scroll of town portal into the Heraldric cube, and you remove the runes and redo it.
Depending on the necessary base, sometimes it's better to just get a new base and roll it a second time rather than destroying the runes that are in the rune word.
Ah, yes, you just reminded me. Another thing that I'm going to be doing, which is going to take me a little bit of time, it is something that I'm actually pretty passionate about, is bases. So, Kingpins did not have any bases. So, like, say you wanted to create a specific item. Like, maybe you had a specific rune word in mind, and you wanted a base with a certain number of sockets or something like that. There was, like, no way for you to obtain it through the Kingpins item pack, or even, like, a lot of the other packs. All they have, for the most part, is the, like, the more common bases, like things that you would expect, like phase blades. There's a whole lot of phase blades, but there's, like, not a whole lot of other bases that you might want to play around with. Like, there's no man catchers in there. There's no, there's no cryptic axe bases. There's no, like, there's not a caduceus sitting in there that you can use as a base. It really kind of bothered me that they just really didn't have a lot of socketed bases at all. And granted, you can change the number of sockets on a base, so that's not a big issue. But there's literally, like, no bases whatsoever in any of the files. So what I'm probably going to be doing is including a whole bunch of white bases of basically, like, every single type of weapon and armor that you could imagine, specifically for use with rune words. So if you're trying to make a specific rune word and a specific base, you can then just pull up that base and you can have a whole lot easier time with it. There is a way inside of Hero Editor where you can convert an item from one base to another, but it's kind of wonky. It can damage the item sometimes. It could basically cause the item to lose its properties. There's all sorts of weird things that go on when you convert one item that's one base into another item that's another base. And I ran into all this stuff myself. I mean, the general goal of this is not to, like, put things in the game or in the files that are going to be, what's the term? Like, impossible. Like, some of this stuff is convenience. And that's really all it is. Like, when I pull up Hero Editor and I'm trying to edit in a particular item, I don't want to have to go through the process of finding the right base, converting it into the right base, changing it to an ethereal, putting the right number of sockets, getting all the runes, putting the runes in there, because it's just a whole, like, ridiculous process to go through this entire thing. And it shouldn't be that way. You should just have a file, and inside the file is like the ethereal version of this item, and you can just pull it in. You know, you could open up the socketed folder, and inside the socketed folder is, you know, like a socketed cryptic axe there, and you can just take the cryptic axe, put it in your inventory, and make your rune word with it. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be like 100% better than the Kingpin's pack, because I do feel like the Kingpin's pack is pretty complete for the most part. But the main issue with it is that it's not convenient to use. Like, it just takes a lot of interest and know-how to actually get it to work. So I actually have downloaded all the packs, Daryl. There's 3 different packs that I've been able to find. One from Diablo2.net, one from just like some various sources, and then there's the Kingpin's pack. And I mean, honestly, from what I've seen, most of the packs out there just simply use the Kingpin's pack. It's like because I've been taking the time to actually go through the process of copying over the files and condensing them down into an easier database. And one of the things that you start to notice is the errors in the Kingpin's pack, right? So you start to figure out what files are broken and what files are not. Well, almost as if like a signature, when you pull up some of these other packs, all they did was just copy the Kingpin's pack in there. So the Tyrael's Might Armor is still broken. The Stormlash Scourge is still the wrong number of, or the wrong effect. The Spirit Forged Linked Mail is still 3 sockets instead of 2 sockets, and so forth and so on. So my goal is to actually fix that stuff. I actually have already fixed the Stormlash in my pack. I've already fixed the Spirit Forged Link Mail in my pack. So those kind of errors that existed a long time ago should potentially be gone. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to make any errors, because I just might. But hopefully most of them will be eliminated, and you won't have to go through the process of like editing out files and making them work correctly. I even contemplated a what-if section, which I thought would be rather interesting. I'm not sure if you guys have ever thought about this before. But you know, ethereal items can't roll. Set items can't roll ethereal, right? So the question that I've kind of like posed for myself is, you know, what if I made a folder, like a what-if set folder, and basically made all of the sets ethereal? Just for people who might want to take a look and see what it would be like to have ethereal sets. I mean, I kind of wanted to shy away from things that were just like not possible in the game. You know, like not possible at all. Oh wow, nice attack rating on that. 254% enhanced damage with 319 attack rating and mana steal. It's kind of sexy. Such a high damage, such a high damage phase blade. Does it have IAS? It does not have IAS, unfortunately. Check that maiden javelin. Garbage. Blast bark. Eisenhart's shield. A bunch of junk. Nothing really worth picking up. Bink. Dial up. No one talk on the phone. Your mom would pick up the phone every 5 seconds and just immediately start talking. I swear my parents like did it on purpose. I can't ever pretend that they didn't, because they probably did. They used to pick up the phone, and I know they didn't hear a dial tone, and they would just start dialing. I mean, it was the first thing I learned about phones. Like, even when I was a little kid. Like, if you didn't hear a dial tone, you're not dialing. What are you doing? Stop. Like, get a dial tone first before you start, like, punching buttons. No, not my parents. They would just pick up the phone. They would literally hear ding 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 ding, and they would just start dialing away. Like, they didn't even care. They're just like, whatever, that's the sound, right? That's a dial tone. That's totally a dial tone. Dial tone is supposed to be ding 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 ding. And what was worse is they would literally dial it, and then they would just keep going like it was a joke, like it was a freaking Abbott and Costello routine. Like, it was literally like this. Beep boop 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 beep 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 boop 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 beep beep. Hello. Beep boop boop beep boop boop beep 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 boop 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 beep. Until that jank just disconnected. Like, they just kept it up until it was disconnected. There was no break. There was no nothing. Like, they didn't care. Like, the president himself could have come on there and could have been like, please hang up the phone. This is a national emergency, and you are blocking up the secret fax line of the president himself. And they would have just kept on dialing, and they would have just kept on going hello. Meanwhile, I'm like 15 years old, and I'm literally screaming down the hallway at my mom. Stop! I'm online! You're gonna get me killed, Mom!
Oh. Let me know if you want me to go drop off those gloves for you for the Amazon.
Oh, yeah, anytime. I'm just hanging out. Seal popping away. Seal popping.
Are you in a private game or public?
Just my normal GGM 6. That's what I'm on right now. I'm just going up the list.
Yep.
Non-F. +3 reward. It's got an orange color to it. I bet it looks cool. That's a really high level charge of bash. Level 10 bash on that thing. I still remember because we were on the computer all the time, like back in the day, because that was the internet. Like, if you wanted to be on the computer, you were on the phone. And so my parents did eventually get a second line, so we had a second line for a while. And that was until we finally got like broadband internet instead of crappy dial-up. And the second line was abused all the time for internet, or for calling up the main line and pretending to be my girlfriend's boyfriend. Is Carrie there? Is that brother Leo there? Dilio?
His gloves are right here.
Athletic gauntlets of the Alcreta team.
Yeah.
I was such a rotten little shit when I was younger. Like my girlfriend, my sister would always be waiting for her boyfriend to come over, and I would go outside and I would ring the doorbell, and I would run around the house, and she would run to the door, you know, because she was super excited for her boyfriend to come over and get her, and and I'm just literally like giggling around the corner. And I would do this repeatedly and torture the crap out of her. Demon-eyed boots. Demon hide poops. Poops. Poor Bailey Eliotson, he's dead. I'm calling from inside the house. I wonder if there's anybody who hasn't heard that story. That old horror story. I mean, it's been around for a really long period of time. I would guess most people have heard that horror story by now. Pretty sure they even made a frickin' like made-for-TV movie about it. It was a bunch of the old like horror janks that we used to tell all the time that people like turned into like some sort of little mini. It was like a mini horror story, like by the campfire kind of a jank. Had nothing else to do in the 90s. I don't know. We were busy stealing batteries from every remote control in the house so that we could use our Game Boy. I mean, that was something that we did. Not a single remote control in the house ever had batteries thanks to our little weasel hands and the Game Boy AA's. Unless it was AAA's. And then we tried to finagle those in there too, usually. I can think of at least more than one time that I tried to get some AAA's to work in my Game Boy. Oh man, I have a mist bow that I'm using on my mercenary trustworthy, but I'm not. I don't want to trade it. I don't want to. sword. Non-eth. Bone thirst. The thirst of the very bone. Come on down to bone thirst, bone thirst, bone thirst. Yeah, it's a dang old bone thirst coming straight for you. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Oh, we had camera CB. That's where, World's Funniest Videos came from. I used to love watching that when I was a kid. I mean, it was overly produced, and they chose what videos to show us and what videos not to, and it was way too short, and there wasn't enough videos. But it was World's Funniest Videos, and sometimes there was some really cool things. Like the guy with the mirrors. There was always that guy with the mirrors doing crazy things with like videotapes and like multiple mirrors and like converting himself into like crazy life forms. And they never gave him a prize either. Like I remember that about World Funniest Videos. They kept showing his videos because he kept sending them in, but they basically said every single time that because he used like mirrors and tricks, that they wouldn't allow him to win any prizes. Always kind of made me a little mad. I mean, you're literally like showing this guy's stuff off because it's really cool, but you're like, oh yeah, but he's not gonna get any money for it. So. I mean, it's basically the same thing, right? I mean, World's Funniest Videos would literally choose the videos that would get them the most views, and that's what YouTube does too. YouTube chooses the videos that gets them the most views. Nothing super crazy about it. Get off my merc, you little turds. Alright, with you freaking lower res spam. Got my merc. You think you're so funny. Oh, you're still alive. There were so many elites there. It was like a freaking elite-a-thon.
I can't carry anymore. Good evening.
Nice. Oh, I got a nice little group here forming. Yeah, I took a Polaroid of my first time beating Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's quite an accomplishment. Let's be honest. I was so back and forth when I was a kid between PC games and Nintendo 64. Man, I love Nintendo 64. PC games are great, and I will never say that PC games aren't, but there is just something different about sitting down with 3 of your buddies and just having some fun with like GoldenEye 007 or any of the other really cool party games on Nintendo 64. It was just a whole different time period. I mean, it's not something that PC can replicate either, unfortunately. It's just because, you know, in the PC world, you don't really have sit-down 4-player co-op. Like, it's just not something that normally happens. And yeah, you can do over the internet, you can do online co-op, and that's it's decent. But there's nothing better than just having 3 of your best buds over and just killing each other on GoldenEye 007 and getting mad at each other, and you know it's like you're right there. You know, you're having snacks, you're fighting with your friends, you're talking about girls, you know it was a whole different time. A time we'll never get back again, because couch co-op has literally gone the way of the dinosaur. Like none of the consoles do couch co-op anymore.
My favorite was Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark was right after GoldenEye. It was the same game,
Yep.
pretty much. If you played GoldenEye 007 and you didn't play Perfect Dark, you're silly.
My little laptop sentry guns were amazing for back then.
You know what the sad part was? So GoldenEye 007 was great with other people, but Perfect Dark was amazing by yourself. Because it had the bots and you could play by yourself. Like, it was one of the few games around that time period that actually had like working bots in them, so you could actually fight against them, controlling their difficulty and trying to come up with strategies to beat them. And it opened up a whole new world of couch co-op too, because what we would do is, you know, it'd be like 2 or 3 of us, and we'd put like one bot in the game, and it would be like 3 versus 1, but like the bot would be set to like ultra uber ridiculous difficulty, where literally like he'd be tracking you through walls, and like the moment that you popped out, he would like immediately headshot you like 6 times. So like you had to come up with strategies to win, and you know, it was like all point based, and we'd try to make sure we didn't die more times than he died, and we'd set up booby traps and all sorts of stuff, and that was a whole cool thing too. There's a plain 20 life small charm on the ground if anybody wants it. I mean, say what you want about the consoles, like any of them, but the Nintendo 64 was by far the best console, in my opinion, just simply because it had 4 controller slots. 4 controller slots right off the bat was the smartest move in the world, because literally it made for the most epic, just the most epic fun times with, you know, your buddies. Because, and I might sound kind of weird when I say this, but, you know, like, most people would have more than one friend. And for those few of you who only ever had one friend, I'm sorry. But most people would normally have more than one friend. And so when you would bring your friends over, your multiple friends, plural, to your house to play games, and you only had a console that could play 2-player games, there was always the odd man out. You know, whether it was 3 or whether it was 4, there was always the odd man out. And having a console that had 4 controller slots and allowed you to play 4-player games was just a godsend when it came to having your friends over. The four controller ports is really the only thing that mattered. Yes, some of the consoles had expansion slots that you could purchase later on, but that wasn't default. You know, if you're a kid, you're not going to the store and buying an expansion slot. You're playing with what they gave you, and what they gave you is 4 controller slots on the 64, and it's awesome. And the really cool thing is if your friends had Nintendo 64s also, they could just bring their controllers over. So you didn't even need to actually have 4 controllers. You just needed to make sure that your friends all had their own controller, and they would bring their controller over when they came. A halfway decent paladin circlet. It doesn't have any faster cast on it, but it does have 14 all res and 33% fire, which would balance out a spirit, and 15 life, which is pretty interesting, with +2 pally. Any pallies out there rocking a spirit and would like a circlet that could balance out their resistances? It's a pretty half-decent circlet.
I am overburdened.
Catcher, non-F. Pylum, non-F. Yeah, they're saying Diablo 4 is going to have couch co-op, but I don't know how true that is. A lot of the times, I've been very disappointed with games when they say they have couch co-op, and it turns out to be something completely different. Like, yeah, it's couch co-op, but you can't play online, and it's only up to this number of players, and there's like all these like ridiculous, stupid, freaking like restrictions to it. That literally by the time they're done talking about couch co-op, it's like, okay, well, that sucks. I also don't ever like how they split up the widescreen. I don't know what it was. I think it was just the square screen was much easier to split up into 4 screens. And whenever they try and split up the widescreen into 4 screens, like, or even 2 screens, they do it in such a freaking stupid way that it makes my eye bleed while I'm trying to play the split screen co-op, and I don't understand why they choose to split the screen in that way. Like, make it livable. Like, reduce the size a little bit and actually make it the proper ratio. Like, have you guys seen the way that they split the screen on like Minecraft and stuff? Like, it just looks god awful. Let me see if I can pull up an image of a Minecraft split screen. That's the easiest one I can think of off the top of my head. So, Minecraft does it one of 2 ways. Either they do it this way. Let me just pull this up so you guys can see it. So they either do it one of 2 ways. They either do it this way, which is where they literally cut off a huge portion of the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen, and they basically leave it at the normal widescreen ratio, but you're essentially it's kind of like the opposite of the old like fix the aspect ratio for your TV kind of thing. Like in the old versions, they cut off the sides to just make it fit. Well, in Minecraft, they just cut off the top and the bottom, and they just make it fit. And it's awful. Like, you can't see up and you can't see down. Like, you can only see like directly in front of yourself, and it feels really, really wrong. And then the other way they do it, because you can change it in the menu, is you can change it to the the left and right or the up and down option, which also most people don't use because it's exactly the same. Yeah, here it is right here. It also cuts off huge swaths of the left and the right, but leaves the up and the down aspect ratio correct. So you literally can't see left and right. Like you're just you see nothing to the left and right, but you can see everything up and down. And both of them are just terrible. And I don't know why they do it that way. They could do it differently, but they're trying to use like every inch of the screen real estate instead of actually coming up with something that doesn't give you literal eye cancer.
Literal eye cancer.
Try playing on the Minecraft split screen for a couple hours. You will understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I got most of the seals popped. There's one seal left on the right side. Bottom right.
Oh god, Infector is down there.
Do it. Yeah. I was able to get that one.
Yeah, I don't...
The other one next to it I couldn't.
Infector is too dangerous. Like I don't fight him like with his entire like all the other monsters around him and the knights and everything else. Like it's just too much. I usually come over here, I kill the Oblivion Knights at the very least. Not necessarily the whole pack, but just at least the knights. Because it's just too much to leave the constant cursing from the Oblivion Knights while you're trying to fight him. Especially if he happens to spawn with the worst modifiers ever. And obviously I don't want to die, so, you know, there's also that motivation. I got both the seals over here. Is there still one missing?
No, I haven't killed the bosses yet.
Oh,
I was just in the process. Yeah, I was just popping and...
You just popped all the seals and ran?
Hey, when I've got 900 health and I don't have my damage set up, I only have my gold find set up, or my magic find set up. I got Grand Vizier, he's down, so all we have to do is get... Oh!
I'm working on it.
Oh! Gotta bounce. I'm gonna die. It's fun though. All you have is Disace left.
Yeah, I'm working my way down to him. He's got quite the posse with him today. One of the easiest ways to fight him is just to string out his monsters a little bit so that you're not fighting the entire pack on top of your head.
Well, I didn't clear anything in
God
there. I literally
bless
just
it.
went through and...
Amplify damage spam. Like, I have cleansing aura, so my amplify damage wears off so fast. But literally, like, I watched it go on me, fall off. 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 Go on me, fall. I'm like, God bless it, stop cursing me. Use a different curse.
Yeah, I was trying to take him out just to get it click for you. It didn't work.
Popping seals in hell is a little difficult, especially when we have 5 players in here. I noticed that the more players we have, the more spicy it becomes.
Yeah. I mean, if I had my damage set up on it, wouldn't be that bad. But with, what is it? Yeah, 3,500 to 3,700 blizzard damage with my magic find set up, it's a little rough.
What's up, Shadow Leader?
If I swap to my damage setup, though, I'll have like 13k blizzard damage, so pretty much one-shots everything.
I never had Super Smash Brothers, unfortunately. When I was a kid, if we're talking about like when we were kids, I never had it. One thing I've actually wanted to do for a little while now is I've got my Nintendo 64 back here, and I was going to get it hooked up to my computer so we could play some Nintendo 64 games one day. One of my absolute favorites, I know GoldenEye 007 was everybody's favorite, but one of my absolute favorites was, not to say that I didn't like GoldenEye, was Battle Tanks. I don't know if you guys ever played Battle Tanks. I freaking loved Battle Tanks. It was such an amazingly fun game to play. I used to play battle tanks like every day. Multiplayer. It had bots. There was all sorts of fun things you could do on battle tanks. You could set up like King of the Hill and like capture the flag and all sorts of cool stuff. And there were basically there was 4 different classifications of tanks. There was like the ultra heavy, like monster tank. Then there was like the sort of like the high damage, low armor tank, and then there was like the medium tank and the scout. Like the one that kind of like he had like really low armor and he had like kind of like a crappy gun, but he was really fast and he could get in there and do things a lot better than some of the other tanks could. I used to have so much fun playing that game. Battle Tank 64 was amazing. It was 4-player too.
I was a StarCraft player back then. I loved going into StarCraft 64 and just ruining people's day.
I used to do 3v1 on GoldenEye. My brother and a lot of the time it was his friends because he had his friends and I had my friends, and they would come over and they would complain I was too good at the game, and so it would literally be 3 versus 1, and I would still beat him sometimes. It was a lot of fun playing GoldenEye back in the day. They used to get real mad about screen cheating. Like screen cheating was a part of GoldenEye. Like that was that was how you played the game. Like you peeked at your friend's screen and you could see that he was on this level of the complex, and you knew exactly where he was because you knew the map. Like that was part of the game. Screen cheating was the jam. My brother actually made it's like a cardboard, like 4-way kind of a box thing to like tape on the screen so that we all sat on like a different side of the screen and we couldn't cheat off each other's screens. I still beat him, but I mean, he was trying to prove a point that like the only reason I was winning is because I was screen cheating, and I'm like, it's how you play the game. If you weren't screen cheating in Diablo, I mean in GoldenEye 007, you weren't doing it right, as far as I'm concerned. You were not doing it correctly.
Oops.
What are we oopsing?
Merc died.
Oh no. I hate how Infector's pack like is leashed to him. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but his pack is definitely leashed to him, so that you can't like bring his pack out. Like they'll try and run towards you, and it's like as soon as they reach a like an exact point, they just immediately turn back around and they go back toward him because they're leashed.
I can't tarry anymore.
Not even death can save you from me.
Not even death. I mean, if you can hang with the seal pop in AWT, you're more than welcome to. I really wish they'd do something about the Act 3 Merc's AI. I don't know why he stands directly behind you. It's just an invitation to get frickin' murdered by the by any kind of line-based AoE attack.
Greetings.
Did I stream on the 6th? I streamed yesterday on the 7th. What was the 6th? I don't even remember. What was that, Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I probably streamed on the 6th.
I'm pretty sure you did.
yeah, D2R back to the grind. 3 hours and 42 minutes. Looks like you missed it, sir. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there's a bunny rabbit. But the beat goes on. Do 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 do. Why am I farming seals? I'm farming seals for EXP, Shadow Leader. I'm trying to level up my character. And as of right now, seal popping is kind of like the most efficient, best way for me to grab EXP. Unless I had like a permanent 8-man group that wanted to follow me around, it's the best I'm going to be able to do. Just hope I don't run into the killer Infector of Souls again. He's the one monster up here I'm actually kind of scared of. Every now and then he hits really freaking hard. Maybe if I was some kind of indirect damage character I wouldn't care, but... alas, I am not. 42 mana Grand Charm. Yeah, Chunks is doing a throne. He's actually walking it, but I mean... Ow. Oh, he's extra strong. That's right, back off of me, sucker. Alder's Helm in town if anybody wants it.
What do you need?
Heh. FCR. I'm not really so much worried about the FCR. A little bit faster teleport time isn't really going to help me out very much. What I really need is somebody who, I mean, what I really need is to not die. And I'm not going to give up survivability for a little bit of extra faster cast. Oh, are you immune to lightning, eh? Are you immune to zeal? Nope. Those guys are the worst. The mages that just sit back and they spam bone spirits and they spam curses on you while you're trying to kill whatever it is you're trying to kill. More often than not, when you die in Chaos Sanctuary, they're the reason why. That is the exact reason why you die. It's usually them sitting off on the edge, just doing their own little thing. I have no intention of respecing to Hammered in Digital Shaman. No intention whatsoever. these guys even come from? Half the time I'm standing here, and nobody comes over, nobody does anything. I'm literally just like enjoying my life, sipping tea in the window, and then all of a sudden, like 16 monsters come out of nowhere. I don't even know where the hell they come from. It's like there's got to be some sort of like joined radius or something. Like when you aggro one monster, other monsters nearby or something will like do something to. I really don't know. Got a spicy Infector of Souls today. Spicy.
Greetings.
I hate it when Infector of Souls is spicy. Always Father Son Direct, always. I mean, diecast, always. I'm always looking for Thals and PM rolls. I'm gonna keep crafting until I get my perfect amulet. Hyperion Spear. Ethereal Hyperion Spear. Ooh. Sexy find. +4 skills? Ah, only +2. But it is an Ethereal Hyperion Spear. Those things are actually absolutely great on mercenaries. Does anybody in here need an Ethereal Hyperion Spear? These things are freaking sick. I don't know if you guys have ever actually used one of these on a mercenary, but because it has ITD on it, and it's Eth, it actually hits like a freaking Mack truck. It's too bad it's not +4, but I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I picked up a nice mist base today. 3 to bone crossbow skills, GMB with 5 open sockets.
Nice.
About all I have for today.
Did the PC get a new button to pick up items and put them right in the cube? No, but the PC did
Yes.
get this amazing button. Let's do that again. You ready? Once. PC got that amazing button, which was never a button before.
What do you need?
PC does if you play with controller.
Well, yeah, but that's not the same thing.
Yeah, you can loot direct to cube with the controller on PC.
Some people said it doesn't work. Like there's
It's buggy. It's buggy
that
sometimes.
it doesn't work
like
sometimes.
my inventory will be full, and I'll go and pick up something, and it'll just throw it up in the air, drop it back on the ground. They definitely still need to work the kinks out of it, but it is there. And it doesn't work any better on Xbox on console. I tried it.
I hear the console people are still a little mad that they didn't get in-game chat. Apparently, it's very difficult to trade if you can't chat with somebody.
Yeah.
Oh no,
It's pretty
Javelina.
rough. Yeah.
Somebody almost died, or somebody died, and I literally looked down to see who died, and and then I looked back up, and my HP was at 1,
Jeez.
and I almost died. Don't know how that happened at all. That was kind of crazy, actually. Go fill up on potions real quick. You dropped what? What'd you drop for me, man? Oh, some thals and emeralds. I'll take them. Yoink.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them too. Jump over there real quick.
Good morning. I can't carry anymore.
Got a bunch of those for you too.
Do some crafting today.
I am overburdened.
Maybe if I get the perfect amulet, I won't have to worry about almost dying all the time.
Maybe.
I am overburdened.
It's always such a delicate balance between, you know, hey, I'd like to live, and hey, I'd like to kill things and not take 10,000 years to do so. You're like, You.
What do you need?
What do you need? What do you need? No good. +1 assassin with all res. Really low all res. The jank was like, what's the lowest all res that I could possibly roll? Like, okay, roll that. +1 fire skills. Yeah. Oh yeah, I need to grab some money out of my stash. +2 curses. Garbage. +1 lightning with all res 17 and a pretty healthy chunk of mana. Always with these barbarian ones. +2 barb, 6% chance of blocking. That one's actually halfway decent for a low level. Sorka. What's up, Ryan? Going pretty good today. Having a lot of fun. Seal popping USA. Seal popping USA. Oh, wow. I got a fortuitous amulet of luck. That's not something I ever expected to actually get.
Nice. What did it roll?
47. What's the cap on that?
That's not terrible. I'm not 100% for sure, but it's definitely a solid one.
If you guys are unaware, you can roll two magic find modifiers on an amulet or a ring. Like, it's one of the few ways that you can get like even higher magic find than you otherwise normally would be able to. So like this particular amulet, which is a fortuitous amulet of luck, is a double magic find amulet. So it has two modifiers on it. The fortuitous is the prefix and the luck is the suffix. And so having both makes it higher than just about any other item in the game. You actually can't get much higher than that as far as magic find is concerned. It's pretty difficult, especially on rare items. You'll never see that on rare items that high. 2 Thull runes? That's not what I need. At least I'm getting rid of some of my my jewels. Been hanging on to like 1,000,000 jewels specifically for those.
Almost max roll. Max roll is 50.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 15 for the fortuitous and it's 35 for the luck.
It's
So
3
you're
off.
3 points off. Perfect. Not bad. Not bad at all.
I'll hold on to it instead of throwing it in the trash. Ooh, +2 Necromancer with all res 20. And poison length reduced by 75%. It's kind of sexy. +1 cold skills with 20% MF on it. I don't know if anybody wants that. MF, Amy. I think that's it. I don't have any more. Oh, no, I got one more.
Wait.
Magic items can only roll 2, a prefix and a suffix. So 1 suffix, 1 prefix, 2 total. They can't roll anything else. Hmm. 10% increased chance of blocking. All res, strength, mana steal, no plus skills. Sadness. What do you need? Gonna get scrolls TP. No, you can't get both on a yellow. That's one of the benefits of the blues. If you guys have never played around with that kind of stuff, that's the reason why blues can sometimes be better than yellows in very strict circumstances. Like the gloves that were given to me earlier, the 20% IAS +3 skills. You can't have +3 skills on a rare pair of gloves. So the only way for you to get +3 skills and the effect that you're looking for is to have it on a blue. That's how it works. Same thing goes for rings too. So rings can roll, for instance, plus 2 modifiers for the magic find. So you can have a fortuitous ring of luck, and it rolls really high on the magic find as
40.
well. Yeah, it's 40. So, you know, you can't get a 40% magic find rare ring, and you can't get a 40% magic find unique ring. The highest you can get on a unique ring is 30. And I think the highest you can get on a rare ring, I think, is 20.
Hail to you, champion.
Not 100% for sure.
But it's definitely the highest possible magic find that you can get is the magic ring, the blue ring. Is there any use for the essences? Yeah, you make tokens with them, but you need all 4. You can't just make an essence with only 1 ring or 1 essence. You've got to have the blue, the red, the yellow, and the green. You need all 4, and you put them in the cube and you transmute them, and it makes a token.
Alright, Ginger, I gotta get ready for work.
Are you going night shift tonight?
Yeah, I'm still on night shift.
Night shifts for days.
Yep. The last 3 years, I think. Something like that. Yeah, it's a lot.
Only 3 years. You'll be alright.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that bad.
The first 3 years are the worst.
Although, if it was anything like last night, maybe a fun night. Fridays and Saturdays are usually a little more active. Alright, man. Later.
I see it. Not even death can save you from me. Yeah, Blizzard North removed the constriction ring. I think it's important to remember that it's not Blizzard, it's Blizzard North. Now it's Blizzard. But it wasn't Blizzard before. Blizzard North did some things in the past that were, you know, their own choices. It would be interesting to see, honestly, what Diablo would have become if Blizzard North was still around. I think that would be really cool.
Afternoon.
But I've got a really hot take on Diablo, and some people may not appreciate it, but I don't necessarily think that Blizzard North made a masterpiece deliberately. I think they made a masterpiece almost accidentally. And I think like a lot of the builds and a lot of the ways that people made their characters were things that the Blizzard North team had never envisioned. And it wasn't until much later that they started to realize that they had, you know, sort of accidentally created something amazing. And there's no guarantee that their continued patronage would have been a positive effect, because there's definitely a point at which a game can be considered overdeveloped. If you guys have ever played an overdeveloped game, you know what I'm talking about. It's a game that like seems like there's no actual real like freedom of choice or or anything, you know, involving how you build your character. Everything seems to be pre-planned, predetermined. Like when you make a character a certain way, like you didn't come up with that idea. The developer put that into the game. It was like, this is the way that you can build your character. And then you ended up falling into that little groove that the developer had cut, essentially, right? Whereas when you play Diablo, you don't really so much feel like you're stuck in a developer's groove for how your character needs to be built. You feel much differently. You feel like, hey, this character is how I'm building him, you know? Unless you're watching some guide out there and you're following, you know, like some guy's 10 easy steps on how to make the most overpowered paladin ever. You know, if you're doing it yourself, you've got some agency in it, right? You know, you've created the character yourself, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why Diablo 2, honestly, is such a good game and has remained such a good game for such a long period of time. Is just simply because you actually feel like you have a say in how your character is being made. Like, it's pretty cool. Coming up with new ideas and figuring things out that maybe even the developers had not intended. You know, you're like, oh, the developers totally didn't like think about this, but this is pretty cool. And then later the developers, you know, come back and like nerf the crap out of it. But the Blizzard North team is gone, so there's no one here to nerf the crap out of that weird exploit that you found out. Although now we do have the Vicarious Visions team, which is they have a much lighter touch on things. It's actually rather interesting of an idea, the way that Vicarious Visions is handling the game, because they handle the game as if it was an antique. You know, they're trying not to ruin it, and the developers, the original developers of the game, probably wouldn't handle it as an antique. They would just do what they want, and they would be, you know, rough with it, and they might destroy it to, you know, in spite of themselves. Whereas Vicarious Visions is, you know, going to be a little bit more careful with it, a little bit more studious, and try not to destroy it. And maybe it's better that it's in somebody else's hands entirely, because then we don't have to worry about, you know, the original developers destroying the game. My top 3 magic find builds. I prefer walk magic finding, Sathis, to targeted magic finding. So most of my magic finding builds are going to be relatively slow by comparison to some other people's. Like, I like playing my Naked Mancer, Necromancer, using Corpse Explosion and maximum summons and running around just magic finding everything in existence. Like, that's the kind of stuff I like to do. And so a lot of the times you'll find my magic find builds are not really quite the same as other people's. Like, other people's magic find builds is like a sorceress that like teleports straight to Mephisto and kills Mephisto only, and that's it. You know, he only kills Mephisto. Like, that's not me. I've never been like a only Mephisto kind of a character. I'll kill Mephisto. I will kill him, but I'll kill Mephisto's council. I'll click on everything in his room. I'll open all of his chests. Click on his armor racks. Probably kill half the champions on the way to Mephisto. Like, that's the way I like to do it. I'm a raccoon, okay? I'm a raccoon. Let's just put it that way. I'm the little raccoon that's running along, and he's turning over every rock. He's opening up every little barrel. He's got to poke, you know, every little brick to make sure there's no secret entrances. My raccoon style has yielded me some very amazing items, though, so I can hardly complain. I've found perfect Maras, I've found Zod runes, I've found Burr runes, Jaw runes, I've found Ohm runes, Vex runes, runes. I've found all sorts of unique items of ridiculous proportions, really cool sets and uniques. rare items, some like really sexy rare items that I've found in the time I've been playing, all for my raccooning. I mean, that's literally what I do. I just raccoon. I'm a raccoon, okay? Don't judge the raccoon. Experience shrine. Oh, nice. I'll have to grab that before I kill Diablo. Do not judge the raccoon, okay? You ever seen a raccoon in the wild? They're fat, okay? They're big and they're chunky and they're fat. They're not just floofy. No, they're fat. Alright? They eat well. Alright? And my magic finding raccoon characters, they do very well. I have never been like in a situation where I was like, hey, you know, I'd really like to have like these items, and then like never find them because I usually end up finding them eventually. Just takes me a little bit of raccooning. Gotta go for optimal raccoonness. You know, I never tried to sell an essence. Can you sell an essence to the shop? I mean, I've got so many Diablo essences that, like, I kind of like it. It just occurred to me, like, what if I actually sold them? How much do they sell for? Cannot be traded. Well, you don't want my Diablo dust? Well, phooey on you. You don't want my Diablo dust. I've learned a little trick with animals and honking at them or flashing your lights at them. The key is not to honk once or to honk a long honk. What you want to do is you want to rapidly press your hand on the horn button so that it sounds like absolutely crazy, like and for some reason, like the really loud noises abbreviated, like, you know, in like almost like a Morse code kind of a situation, seems to have a much better effect on getting them to like panic and run away. Especially squirrels. I've noticed it works really good on squirrels. Because most of the time you honk at a squirrel, they don't do anything. Like, they just look at you funny. But if you, like, literally spam the horn button as fast as you can, like, I don't know, it, like, scares the crap out of them or something, and then they start running. You think that's something? I've got a whole lot more. Holy Jesus. I never had him spawn like that, directly on top of my head. That's rude, Lord Day. I mean, Infector of Souls. Like, why? Why you gotta be so rude? It's a whole lot of rudeness there, sir. Oh, 2 sockets? Aww. 2 sockets. A Shamshir. A Shamshir. X-Fire. Those are great. Hold on to that. The rest of the stuff is crap. Crap. Oh, faster cast ring with dual res and dual life leech, or life mana leech. That's pretty cool. And the first thing he does is curse me, and he removes my shrine, see? So I never get to have my bonus experience shrine for me. I don't remember which one's real. Clone bales. Clone bales. Clone bales. Tequila. There's a small charm from Bale. Anybody want a small charm from Bale to reroll? I will drop it in the next game if anyone is interested. It needs that Hexfire. I don't need that Hexfire.
Good morning.
Do 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 do. Aw, +1 pally, 1% block, 5 replenish life, 40% cold res. 40% is a lot of cold res. As much as I like having my Geeds, I think I'm going to take it out for a while. I'd much rather have the increased survivability. Or extra damage for speed. There's that one charm I had. Ah, yes. There's that sexy beast. The best roll that you can possibly get on a small charm? It really depends on what kind of character you are. I don't really know what would be considered like the most valuable, if that's kind of what you're getting at. I mean, but there's tons of different like epic rolls for small charms. Like, and it's usually a combination of two things, so it's never just one thing specifically. Like you need both for it to be worth a lot of money, or to be worthwhile, not just simply one thing. So, like, for instance, you can have all resistances, which is a shimmering charm, and shimmering can roll with just about anything else. So, give me just a second here. I'm gonna kill Grand Visor of Chaos, and I'll show you. Alright, so as an example, here's a Shimmering Charm. So Shimmering Small Charm. So a Shimmering Small Charm is the prefix. So that prefix can roll with any suffix. Like, for instance, Cold Resist 11% is a prefix, whereas Dex is a suffix. So you can't have another resist roll with it. But you can have, like, for instance, Faster Hit Recovery, which is of balance. So you can have a all resistances 5 of balance, or you could have a all resistances 5 with 20 life, or you can have an all resistances 5 with like a nice amount of dex or strength. You could also have all resistances 5 with 7% magic find, which is a very, very valuable item. In general, when it comes to small charms, you're looking at the prefix and the suffix. So fine is a prefix as well, which is +3 max damage plus attack rating, right? So if you find a really nice fine small charm with another suffix like 20 life or 17 mana, which I believe is the max for mana, or faster hit recovery, or any other number of effects, that is also a very good combination. Basically, any kind of like really good combination of effects can be super duper sexy. Like for instance, fire resistance, which is the resistance that's missing from a spirit, is a really nice one to have as well, and you can have up to 11% to a single resistance. So you can find a 11% fire resistance, 20 life small charm. Those are actually worth a pretty good amount as well, because a lot of people are trying to balance out the missing fire resistance from their spirit. +1 barbarian with 20 strength. Not a lot else going for it there, but 20 strength is a lot of strength. You know what that could be useful for? Just off the top of my head, if you guys are running a barbarian mercenary and you need him to have more strength to use a piece of equipment, that could be an interesting choice for a barb merc temporarily. I don't really think there's a lot of people out there that are going to take that, but if you want it, you're more than welcome to it. I'll drop it in town. I'm in game GGM 17, password 16. If nobody picks it up, I'm sure it'll get sacrificed to the gods. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Stop cursing me! That was a spicy Lord DC spawn. That was a spicy meatball. My poor little merc bit the dust for me.
What do you
He said, did you just leave me to die? I burned a full juvie and I got the hell out of Dodge. Spicy meatball. Yeah, it's not about finding like the exact perfect small charm. It's about like looking at all your small charms and going, okay, this combination of effects is actually pretty nice, and I think I would probably like to keep this combination of effects. Like you're just looking at the combination of effects and trying to figure out who would want this. You know, like something that would be really cool that a lot of people like is actually mana life small charms. You can get like it's 20 life, 17 mana or something. Like it's a combination of life and mana together on a small charm. Usually those are used for energy shield sorceresses, if I remember correctly. you so spicy, Infector? Every now and then, man, I tell you, some spicy meatballs. It's a very spicy. Not ethereal. Boo. I mean, I found some pretty good charms over my time. I mean, take a look at this one right here. This is one that I've been holding on to for a little while that I absolutely adore. Very, very nice combination of effects. It's hard to beat something like that. No, because they're both prefixes trustworthy. I just talked about that. You need to look at them and you need to say if it's a prefix or a suffix. So prefix means before and suffix means after. Okay? So notice on this charm right here, the one that I'm showing you, it says sapphire, which is the pre, small charm of dexterity, which is the suffix. Okay? So prefix, suffix. You can't have more than one prefix or suffix on an item. You can only have a prefix and a suffix, and sometimes you can only have a prefix or only a suffix. This shimmering small charm is only a prefix, but you cannot have a second resistance because all of the resistances are also prefixes. So you can't have two prefixes on an item. It can only be a prefix and a suffix. Ow. A cap? Bale just dropped us a cap, boys. A cap. I want to see what this cap is. Yeah, a all res with faster run walk would definitely be something people would be looking for. There are faster run walk builds out there specifically revolving around getting their fast run walk to the cap, and yes, so that is definitely a good one. The thing is that nothing is going to be like valuable to everyone. Okay, like everyone's got their own specific idea for what their perfect charm is, and they don't care about the ones that are not for them. So that faster run walk one might not seem like a whole lot to one person, but then another person, he might offer you like 2 burr runes for it. You know, if it has all resistances 5 with it, or if it has a specific other effect that he's looking for with it. You know, like, I honestly kind of want to try out a character that's built around like maybe like fine small charms of inertia. I think that would be kind of like a fun build. Fine small charms of inertia. So many mages. Your butt's a mage. Your butt be casting that spells, some spells in the middle of the night. Sanic does like small charms of faster run walk. Huh? How did you know?
Impossible.
Ethereal man catcher. Ethereal man catcher, no sockets. Interesting. Let's roll this bad boy. Let's see what he. Let's see what she gets. There she blows, my friends. There she blows. As long as it doesn't require a perfect emerald. I'm pretty sure it's an am and a ruby. Yeah, am and a ruby. Let's see how many sockets this F man catcher rolls.
Impossible.
Oh, Mr. Man Catcher, we need to roll thee. Please give us 4 sockets. Oh, no, it's a perfect amethyst, not a perfect ruby. And a Ral rune. I might not actually have a Ral rune. I can make one, though.
I am overburdened.
5 sockets. I mean, that would make a really nice obedience. If anybody wants to make an obedience. I mean, I could go ahead and roll the obedience. Alright, Helcothal. Helcoth. Actually, I don't have any co-runes because I used them all up the other day. If anybody wants to turn that into obedience, though, I will totally give you the foul rune. And the base, doesn't matter. It's absolutely a great merc weapon. A F-Man Catcher Obedience is like one of the best merc weapons, honestly, that you can frickin' use. It's just so sexy. It's great for a Spears On, too. They really need to do something about the durability issues with Spears, but it really is a very good item for Spears On. My only qualm of the obedience on the Spears On is the durability. What's up, Blade Orlando? How's it going, man? That boy walked all the way over here to curse me. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was the weirdest thing. Like, he literally just, like, he's a mage, right? And he has a curse. And the curse, you know, can be cast from a distance. Like, that's part of, like, you know, the whole thing about casting spells is that you can do it at a distance. This bro literally just, like, walked over to me. He didn't run. He walked all the way over to me, like literally got within like eyeball range where he could like stare me down and see the whites of my eyes, stopped, and then cast a curse on me, like right next to me. It's really cracked me up inside. Like I'm just like he was just like so sure that he had it. Like it was done. Okay, it was done. He had it. Finished. We're done. +1 max with 48 maximum stamina, boys. Don't all jump over each other for that. Don't all jump over yourself for that one. Come around the corner and feel my sting. You wanna come around and die. Come around the corner and feel my sting. Come around the corner, get chopped in the eye. Come around this other corner and get chopped in the eye again. Come around the corners. I got multiple corners. There's corners everywhere. Corners in your hair. Diablo, I have a white kite shield here for you, okay, buddy? I want you to take this, and I want you to use it, because it's going to upgrade your stats, okay? Really, like, if you would just put a shield on, I think you'd be golden. I don't know, my problem with low-level dueling is they're just min-maxing it, like, to the utmost. Further than I feel like it needs to be min-maxed. Like, I was talking with somebody from the kinship one day about it. They're like, oh yeah, you've got to get your character G-rush to hell, and you've got to get all your quests done with all your scroll quests and your stat point quests, and you've got to get all your skill point quests, and you can't get over level 30, and like your character is literally level 30 with all of his quests done in all the difficulty settings, and literally you've got twinked out gear from characters that are like level 90 plus that is like so godlike that you could never obtain these items at level 30 in your entire life. I just don't really like the entire idea of low level dueling. Like if I got into low level dueling, it would have to be restricted to normal difficulty. Like if you want a low level duel and you want to say, hey, I want to be a level 30 low level dueler, then everything that you have on, everything that your character is, needs to be restricted to normal difficulty. You don't get to go to hell difficulty and pick up the most godlike level 30 item that you can ever find that would never drop in normal difficulty, even if you farm for 10,000 years. I don't like that kind of style. I think that's why I'm more attracted to the Iron Man style of dueling, which is where everybody like levels up together and you all get equipment, and then literally you just, once you hit the appropriate level, everybody just kind of decks out their character and you go outside and you have fun with it. Bloodrise Morning Star. Oh, yeah, I know that's why low-level dueling is apparently done on non-ladder, because, there's an infinite wealth of items there, whereas ladder low-level dueling items are much more expensive. How about friendly fire? How about that? We'll do friendly fire level ups. So everybody hostiles everybody else, but nobody actually tries to kill everybody else. In fact, your goal is to not kill the other players, and then everybody basically just toggles PvP, and you try and like do the quests and like actually you know, kill stuff. You might have to group up for the bosses, otherwise you might get left behind in the axe. But but friendly fire level up session. I know you guys are interested in a friendly fire level up session. Don't get near me when I'm zealing, bro. Okay, don't get near me when I'm zealing. When is the strength only build coming? I have no clue. I don't plan these things out, they just come to me. It's just time. Ow, why are you hitting so hard? Quit it. Stupid extra strong fanaticism butt faces. I don't know. I really enjoyed PvP back in the day. If I had to like say for like how I enjoyed Diablo PvP, Diablo PvP back in the day was fun. It was really fun. I used to PvP all the time, like all the time, and somewhere along the line it changed from duking it out with somebody and trying to kill somebody to like who can one-shot the other person the fastest, and it's not interesting gameplay. Like who can one-shot the other person the fastest has never been interesting gameplay to me. I'm used to Lord of the Rings Online PvP, which I played for literally like 6 or 7 years, and in Lord of the Rings Online, you know, it wasn't like, hey, you know, you're going to get one shot as quickly as humanly possible, and then, you know, we're just going to laugh at you. It was more along the lines of kind of like just a fun thing to do, where you were in there fighting and you duke it out with people, and it took concerted effort to take down a target. And a lot of the time someone would be trying to heal you at the same time while you're, you know, in the middle of your PvP match, and I totally forgot to get the EXP shrine like an idiot. That's what I get for not paying attention. When is the last time I played Lotro? It was shortly after they increased the cap from... what was the cap increase? I can't remember. It was one of the caps increases where they started to incorporate all the PvP equipment. And the PvP equipment was kind of crappy. I still made the best of it, but eventually the PvP equipment got kind of like dumb, and they started doing seasons. I think that was the worst part, is when they started doing PvP equipment seasons, and literally to the point where you had to like keep up with the PvP equipment to make sure your character was strong enough to actually participate. And I've always been one of those guys who doesn't like picking on the guy who isn't set up properly. I'm not really sure quite how to put it, but like I don't like picking on somebody, and I don't like being picked on either. So like if I'm overly strong and I can recognize the fact that like my character is leagues stronger than this other person that I'm fighting, I don't want to fight that person because it's no fun to me. And vice versa, if I'm in a position where there's like no way that I can beat this guy even under the most advantageous situation, like I literally can't beat this guy, even if somebody else was helping me, like I still couldn't beat this guy. Those are the kind of situations I just don't enjoy. Diablo Immortal is like an extreme example of that, yes. Because literally in PvP in Diablo Immortal, it's literally who spends the most money is the one who ends up winning. And like I've heard tales of the Diablo Immortal PvP where it's literally just the guy who spent the most money is literally just like swathing through like the free-to-play players who stand absolutely no chance against them, and they're just running around murdering everything in sight because of course they paid more money than the other guy, and so they have a, you know, a stronger character. It's yeah. Yeah. Before Lord of the Rings went to free to play, and a little bit after Lord of the Rings went to free to play, before they really started screwing things up, Diablo, I mean, Lord of the Rings Online was probably one of the best PvP systems that I'd ever played in. I mean, it was so addictive that I would literally spend like every single day PvPing. Like, if we weren't in a raid, if we weren't, you know, like doing like the newest dungeon, I was in the moors, the Etten Moors PvPing. And there was very rarely an occasion after they borked the PvP system that I would even go and play PvE anymore, because they had separated out PvE and PvP equipment, and they made it so that you had to use the PvP equipment. So, you know, before they made it so you had to use the PvP equipment, you would collect pieces of equipment all over the world to try and create your character, to make him strong enough to actually have fun. But yeah, once they made the PvP equipment, that's when things got really kind of borked. And it made it unbalanced, like very unbalanced, to the point where if you didn't have the PvP equipment, you kind of like couldn't compete. And I heard recently that they've changed it a little bit so the PvP equipment isn't so heavily weighted anymore. But when they first released it, it was literally so heavily weighted that, like, let's say you had previously you had a character who was built properly so that he could fight the strongest of other opponents in a 1v1 duel and win, right? And this guy, you put him in the same duel with the same person that you basically like double KO'd, which is like the strongest honor, the highest honor that you can bestow upon another player, is literally like fighting to the death, to the point where literally both of you dies at the exact same moment. So like you literally fight this guy that literally before you both literally double KO'd each other because you're so evenly matched. And after the patch, after they added the PvP equipment, you couldn't even like even approach the possibility of defeating this guy. Because without the PvP equipment, you were just like completely and utterly underpowered to the point of absurdity. And I really did not enjoy the PvP equipment. I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings Online PvP, and I grinded out the equipment because I had to. And the entire time I was grinding out the equipment, I got my butt handed to me over and over and over again for no reason. There was absolutely no reason for me to have to go through the process of grinding out all that equipment. Especially since I was already like a rank 12 freaking captain on the Brandywine server. Like, I feel like at some point they should have just went, okay, this dude's a rank 12. Like, he's been playing for like 8 years. Let's not force him to have to go through like the horribleness that is grinding out freaking PvP equipment. Freaking 50 mana Serpent's Grand Charm from Diablo. That's a reroll charm.
What do you need?
I kind of want to reroll it. See what I get. I'll do it in a second after we kill Bale. Oh yeah. Oh, Gratstoff. Hey! This is such a good early game armor, Rock Fleece. A lot of people really underestimate this armor, but it has the damage reduced by 10% on it, which is a mechanic that you don't normally see in normal difficulty. It's actually pretty hard to come by, and especially if you find an ethereal one, it's absolutely amazing to upgrade into the Nightmare and even the Elite version, and can carry you all the way into hell because of the really nice 10% DR on it, along with the 5 strength, which can potentially help you put on some better pieces of equipment on the Merc. It's, I remember one of my ladder resets, I actually found an ethereal one, and I utilized the ethereal one like the entire time up. My Merc was pretty safe and tanky for quite a long time. Alright, 1, 2, 3. 23 defense. Yick. Plus 3 max damage. Double yick. $39 life. Ugh. Yick, yick, yick. Yickety, yickety, yick. Yickety, yick. Yick, yick, yick. I got a flawless in my inventory. Boom, 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 boom. Come on down to the Lord they cease, and come on down to see. Leave my Merc alone. Why are you guys always so abusive? Got some grindy charms, and it sucks so bad, but I want this one to be something good. 10% lightning, it's not very nice. Why you gotta troll me like that, rude? Cause he's running up that hill. I may have that song stuck in my head, boys. I may have that song stuck in my head. All these grand chamois dropping from hell. I'll take every grand chamois that you got today, and I'll put them in the bank, okay. But if they're trash, I'll throw them on the floor, and you're not getting them back because it's not worth the door. Oh, hello, Haze White the Sharp. I'll take them full juvies and put them on my belt, because that is what you want when you got some melt. Not even death can save you from me. Yada yada pada rada. Why do you put me in a cage? Nobody puts GGM in a cage. Nobody puts baby in a cage. Oh, he dropped me a diggler dirt. The digglest of dirks. The dirklest of digs. Diggly 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 dirk. Diggly diggly dirk. Diggly 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 dirk. Diggly diggly dig. Multi-shot, but no IAS. Poopies. A Maelstrom? Is that the one with the faster cast rate? Can't remember right off the top of my head. Believe it or not, some of the Necromancer wands are actually better for non-Necromancers. It's a well-known fact. Like Suicide Branch is great for multiple characters. There's a low-level wand. I can't remember the name of it. It has like really nice faster cast rate, and it's actually pretty good for low-level characters. Is that a Torch of Ero? Oh, it's a Grave Spine. Never mind. I need a Torch of Ero if anybody has a Torch of Ero. I would definitely appreciate it. Level 6 sacrifice charges. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be on ladder. I'd have to swap over on my character, though. I was talking about this earlier with the hero editor pack. I actually need quite a few items. I might actually set up a bounty board, because otherwise I'm going to have to somehow find them myself. It's specific items that I need offline. And not on Diablo 2 Resurrected either, because Hero Editor doesn't work to extract files from Diablo 2 Resurrected. So it's got to be on Diablo 2 LOD. And it's very specific items. I wonder if I could show you guys, like, what's missing. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. You guys are going to get one of them sneaker peekers. A sneak peek. Peek of the sneaking in the peeking. Peeking in the sneaking in the sneak peek. Alright, so this is my item pack. I apologize for your bleeding eyes. This is my item pack, and if you go into the item packs and you look at things like the uniques, and you go into the, like, say, class items, and you go to Amazon, it has the highlights. It's got, like, the Titan's Revenge, it's got the Thunderstroke, the Lycander's Aim, the Blood Raven's Charge, but it's missing a lot of the other uniques, like the ones that are not so great. Same thing with the Necromancer. Like the Necromancer wands, it's got like the Bone Flame, the Bone Shade. It's got Arm of King Leoric. It's got the highlights, but it doesn't have pretty much any of the other. It doesn't have any of the other wands, like hardly any of them at all. It's something that I'm gonna have to work on. This is a preview of my item pack that I'm working on, by the way. So Hero Editor is in here, obviously, and then we also have socketed items, which is something that wasn't in Kingpin's. It's basically just a whole bunch of socketed items, 4 sockets, 3 sockets, 2 sockets, even some E-Bug bases if you want to play around with E-Bug. Just like ethereal items as well, just a whole bunch of different ethereal items. As far as, like, my characters, I also have all my characters on here. So both the LOD characters, which are editable. These are editable by Hero Editor. and then my D2R offline characters as well, which are not editable by Hero Editor. I'm trying to think here. I also got 1.08 items on here, which I managed to wrangle. These are all items that are like the previous versions before 1.08. A lot of like really cool stuff. I'm still working on this, by the way. It's going to take me a while. But when you go in here and you look, like one of the things you'll notice right away is like I have the ethereal version of every single item. I've got the ethereal version of every single armor and so forth and so on. So it's a lot more files than before. Actually not sure how big it is. Let's see. Properties. It's currently 21 megs. It's nothing. It's nothing. Not even really worth mentioning. Woo, 21 megabytes, boys. Let's go. Okay. 277% Horizons Tornado, nice. So one of the best hard drives that you can purchase with the lowest failure rate is actually a Toshiba hard drive. It's called the HGST. Toshiba made those hard drives for a really long time before they got bought out by, I think it was Western Digital bought them out. But HGST drives, if you look up the statistics on them, they have one of like the lowest failure rates out of like all drives. I'm talking about like Maxter, Seagate, Toshiba. I think there's a couple other like lesser brands in the running. But if you've never heard of HGSTs, HGSTs are like the best quality drives. Toshiba also made drives under their own name. They made drives called Toshiba drives, which are not as good. Toshiba drives do not have the same longevity as the HGSTs. A lot of companies do that. They actually like off-brand like their higher quality stuff, because they don't want to for people to realize that their stuff is low quality. Like, not trying to bash Western Digital or anything, because they're trying to make money. They're a company that makes money. So you know, producing a product which is good enough is acceptable. You know, a lot of their hard drives will last a pretty long period of time. But the HGST drives, for instance, lasts way longer than your average Western Digital drive. And if they released the drives like side by side, you would get like this really kind of awkward comparison of, hey, this hard drive sucks. When it doesn't really suck. It's just by comparison it does. Anyway, the only reason I was talking about that was because you said Toshiba still makes parts. Definitely grab Toshiba drives. They're high quality drives, especially if you can find them in a cheap, you know, in a cheap format. I actually need to purchase some hard drives. So the other day I got a computer. When I say the other day, I mean like last month. I got a secondary computer for the purposes of storing my my video files, and so I went online hastily to purchase some hard drives, and I wasn't paying attention, and I ended up purchasing SAS drives. I have never heard of SAS drives. I've been in the computer business a long time, and I guess the reason why I've never heard of SAS drives is because they're enterprise hardware. When I say enterprise, what I mean is like big business. So SAS is something that's mainly used in big business type servers and like server clusters and rack mount servers and things like that. Moral of the story, for those of you who may be interested or have ever been looking at SAS drives, they do not work. inside of normal computers. Normal SATA controller boards will not read a SAS drive, and they do not work even if you get a converter, because SAS drives are higher voltage than SATA drives. So you actually have to, if you ever want to use a SAS drive in a regular computer, you have to actually purchase a SAS controller to get it to work, because you need a SAS controller to provide the external current that the drives need. And there may be some other workarounds, but the moral of the story is they don't natively work in any kind of normal computer. You may be like hearing me wrong, but it's SAS. That's why I say SAS. So I had to return them because it was sad. It was very sad too, because it was a good deal and they were HGST drives, and I was super excited because they were 4 terabyte HGST drives. I bought 4 of them. And I was super excited to have a massive amount of storage that I could use for my my video files. I've got to go shopping for some more drives here soon. But don't make the same mistake I did, because I'm just a mortal who makes mistakes, my friends. I'm just a mortal. A mere mortal. Apparently, though, from what I researched about SAS drives, and a bunch of people were saying this, apparently SAS drives are, like, really high-use drives. Like, they see a lot of use over very short periods of time. And basically what he said is that SAS drives are not really that great. Like, they're very high mileage drives. If you were to compare it to a car, basically what he was saying is that they are like, it's like buying a 200,000 mile car. Like, they get used that much over a very short period of time, that they're just constantly in use, non-stop, every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, literally to the point where, like, in 1 year they get more use than your regular average drive does in like 5. Oh yeah, and I had to pay shipping too. Hard drives are not light. And I straight up told the guy, like, I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't notice that they said SAS drives. I'm like, this is something I've never heard of until today. I didn't even know SAS drives existed. It's my bad, but I can't use these drives. Like, I even researched other methods to see if maybe I could buy some converters or something so that I could utilize these drives and just bite the bullet, essentially. You know, hey, I made a mistake. Let's try and fix it. I was like, and everything that I came across was basically, you're an idiot. You can't. And so you might as well just return them. And I'm like, well, fine. I bought them off of eBay, which is even worse, of course, because, you know, it's a guy, you know, that I bought them from, who's inconvenienced and now has to resell them. I've done it before too. Like, I've had things on, you know, on sale on eBay, and then somebody will buy it and then they return it, and then I have to repost it and wait for it to come back. And by the time that I end up getting my item back, like, so much time has gone by and so much time has been wasted where I could have sold these items to somebody else. And it's just a nasty, horrible inconvenience. Which is why literally all my eBay auctions say returns are not accepted. I'm just like, look, I'm following the Ferengi code of the Ferengi code. What's the rule of acquisition? It says once you have their money, you never give it back. That's how I do it on eBay. Like, once I got your money, I'm sorry, you're not getting it back. And there are totally ways that you can do that on eBay, and it is absolutely 100% legitimate, and no one will ever be able to make you pay them back. And I can give you the really quick tutorial on how to make sure that you never have to give anyone a return. Number one, state no returns, okay? This is not going to be a foolproof method, though. Number two, make sure your eBay auction is accurate, okay? When you write down the quality of your item, when you tell a customer like what kind of condition your item is in, be as accurate as possible. If you don't know if the item works, say, I don't know if the item works. Because the eBay auction is a contract. It's a contract is a contract is a contract, okay? And if you're accurate in the contract, then they have nothing to complain about. If your eBay auction says, let's see here, Optimus Prime statue, slightly used, scuff mark on breastplate, stickers falling off, doesn't want to stand up straight, does not include box, does not include instruction manual, sold as is. They can't complain about anything. When they get the item is exactly as you described. You take pictures of the damage to the toy. You literally go, damage to toy, as pictured. Person looks at the picture, sees the damage of the toy. They have nothing to complain about. Literally everything is in the auction. It is all there. And they can't go, okay, well, you didn't say it had such and such, or this toy was X color and you sent me a blue one, or whatever the reason is that they want to return it. There's no reason that they can return it. Yeah, may or may not have greasy fingerprints. Throw that in there too. Why not? Previous person who owned this toy probably really liked to eat donuts. And that's why I was so apologetic at returning the SAS drives, because quite literally, like, it was an idiotic mistake on my part. However, and this is a very strong however, if he wanted to prevent returns, I think he should be well aware that people are going to confuse SAS and SATA drives, and they're not going to necessarily know that what he's selling is exactly what they need. So he should be going out of his way, like in the description and in the title, to be saying these are not SATA drives, or, you know, like buyer beware or something like that. Because he's selling a product which could very easily be mistaken as a different product. And in that case, he will end up with returns, because that's a different case. That's the case of, you know, confused buyer. Confused buyer is an interesting one. Dangun's teaching. $7 mil to go, chunks. Nice. Is it weird to sell enterprise tech on eBay? Yeah, it is, actually. Unless you actually have legitimate license to enterprise tech, you shouldn't be selling enterprise tech on eBay. It's like, it's like a catch-22, right? So, like, if you were working for the military and you had a military laptop, and then you tried to sell that military laptop on eBay later, it's not technically your laptop unless you, like, purchased it from the military. And so you're in a weird situation where it's like, is this legitimate? Do you actually own this stuff that you're selling? I'm assuming that this guy actually owns the stuff that he's selling, because, you know, I guess. I guess. I mean, he has like 1 million of them, so either he went to the place and stole them all, or he's rotating drives. What it really seems like is he's doing is he's purchasing the drives for his server clusters. He's waiting until the drives are probably like a year old or 2 years old, and instead of letting them die, what he's doing is he's pulling them before they die, and then he's buying new drives to replace them, and then he's selling the old drives to cover the loss of replacing the new drives. And I'm pretty sure that that's his business model. Is basically let's buy new drives to replace the old drives. Let's pull them before they die and sell them so that we actually can turn a profit off of what would eventually be like a pure loss. He wasn't even really getting very much for them, and I think that's what really kind of screwed me up, is because I saw a really good deal. But in my defense, I did search for, specifically, HDST SATA drives. I didn't search for HDST hard drives. I searched for HGST SATA drives, and SAS drives popped up on the list. And that's not my fault. I didn't search for SAS drives. SAS drives should be popping up in the list for SATA drives if you're searching specifically for SATA. And I hate how search engines will do that on occasion. Search engines will literally give you the results for something knowing that it's wrong, just simply because reasons. It's really bad with games too. Like I've been playing games for a really long time. You try searching for stuff with games, and Google's always forever trying to correct you. I swear. Like you're like Diablo 2 Handmaiden's Axe, and Google's like, did you mean? And you're like, no, I meant what I typed. Stop auto-correcting everything. Did you mean? Did you mean? Did you mean? Not even death can save you from me. Hold on a minute. I've really got to take a pee. Oh, a unique amulet. Alright, what are we betting, boys? Are we betting Nozakan Relic? Are we betting Crescent Moon? Are we betting... what are we betting? Scalper and the Gore Shovel. Cat's Eye? Look at you, all super hopped up. Rising Sun? Atmas? Well, y'all got some lengthy janks. Oh, Metal Grid. Not actually garbage. Metal Grids are always fun to have around. Metal Grid. I'm gonna make an iron golem.
I am overburdened.
Iron golem. Ooh, a rune sword. Oh, it's only 2 sockets. Make them out of the stuff that Diablo dropped earlier. Great boat. Free socket. Super dead, super fast, oh my god. Super dead, super fast, oh my god. 834 million. Million. 834 million. Takes a little while, yes, you see. 834 million. Haven't even hit the halfway mark yet. I'm so sad. I believe Mancatcher is the better base for Infinity now, yes. I mean, not that any of them are really that different from each other, but Mancatcher allows you to hit your IAS breakpoint on the Mercenary much easier because it's a much faster weapon. So if you're going for a max IAS breakpoint Merc, which most people do like to if they have an Infinity to min-max the crap out of their Mercenary with, it basically allows you to not have to have so much plus attack speed equipment, and then still hit your max IAS breakpoint, so he's staying alive easier. Mancatcher, I think, is negative 20 base, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. I'll look it up. I always got to double, triple check everything. Oh. It would help if I had conviction on. I just realized I didn't have conviction on. I'm like, why is nothing dying? Hey, that guy got some defenses. Any other good finds tonight? I found a pretty decent Paladin circlet if anybody wants it. I mean, a lot of uniques, but nothing like to write home about. There was a Mighty Scepter earlier that dropped, but somebody random got it. I don't know. I don't even know who that person was. I guess they just saw me on stream and decided to join and come steal my items. Which, you know, I'm actually perfectly fine with, but it would have been nice to, like, see what it rolled. To know whether it was Eth or not, you know. They didn't even bother to share the item on stream to let us know what it was. Savages.
Not even death can save you from me.
Savages, savages. It's 16. It's always 16, Bond Villain. That was a terrible ring. That was some terrible boots. Terrible, 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 oh, terrible. Terrible, terrible, oh, no, 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 terrible.
Hail to you, champion.
It's a pretty sweet ring. Oh, hello, Glomes. Come along, little Glomies. I feel like laying you down into your gravestone and bury you right back in the ground. 'Cause you've been dead a long, long time. And you need to rest in peace, I say. So come a little closer, Glomies. I feel like laying you down. Bum, 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 bum. Depends on the level, Tristan. There are some low-level duelers out there that hunt down 15 max damage jewels, or actually, it's like specific levels and specific amounts. So like, there's a level 15 max dueler, a low-level dueler, and there's a level 30 low-level dueler. So that has to be like below those breakpoints. I can't remember exactly which ones they are. It's been a little while. I think 18 isn't 18 a dual level. I think it's 18. Low level 18 duelers. Yeah, 9, 18, and 30. Nice, that's a good find, Twin-tailed Comet. Ah, Grand Crown. Crown of Thieves. Anybody need one of those for their merc? Those are great merc helmets. Colossus crossbow is always worth 35,000 gold to sell at the market. Like, I've very rarely come across one that's not 35k. Very rarely. Even unidentified, a lot of them will sell for nearly 35k. Usually you have to identify them though. It's the modifiers that make them 35k. At the market, that's right. The flea market, Twin-tailed Comet. The flea market. Anyone need what? What do we need? Oh, I haggle. You guys don't haggle with the merchants? You guys don't got that charisma. You guys need to max your charisma stats. That's what it is. See, that's where y'all go wrong, right? You can't just be a 500 strength barbarian with no charisma, all right? You gotta have a little bit of charisma so you can sweet talk to merc. So you can sweet talk to merchants, and you can sweet talk your friends. Look here, freaking ridiculous Grand Visor of Chaos. Die. Gotta be immune to my two favorite elements. Yeah, you get that Lady Killer perk. See, this guy knows. Alright, this guy knows. Stop lower resing me! Freaking heckin' Rudy Duty Booty Poops. Just trying to kill the champion pack. Die, champion pack. It was like a double champion pack, too. I had to stop, okay? When you see 8 Power Rangers, you gotta stop. You gotta help the Power Rangers. Ow, stop decrepifying me. Ow. Double rude. Such a pretty blue.
I can't.
Such a pretty blue, 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 blue. Such a pretty blue, yes you. Come around the corner, little monsters. Come around the corner and die. I don't even have my conviction aura on, and I'm probably stupid, because it always happens to me. Biboblo. Not even death can save you from me. If you want to, you can go wee wee. But I'm going to burn you with my fire. Put you in a cage that's really dire. The Atlantean. The humongous. Now that's a good one to make a golem out of. Make your golem out of a humongous. Where's my metal grid? Where did I put it? I don't remember. Remember me. Remember me. Oh, you stole my humongous. You thief. I was gonna turn it into an iron golem. You thief.
Hail to you, champion.
You sold it to NPC. What is wrong with you? Ha. Come into my games and just sell everything on the ground to the NPC. You're rude.
I am overburdened.
Rude.